Welcome to another video of LTG. We're here to talk about video cameras and some insight into some of them. And just recently I purchased one of these. This is one of them, and I wanted to use it for normal use, but here to sit with Vic to tell us more about the differences between the two, and including our high-end camera that we're using to film this video, and start off with the differences between these particular models.
This one is the Sony, was the SX44, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess similar to like the flip camera, and is that what your experience has been?
Yeah, so I actually had that first. That was the first thing I had. Mm-hmm. And then I decided to go this route. I wanted to go in that route, but I think it was a little bit more pricey on my side, but it would have been probably a little bit more ideal for a better, I guess, image quality.
Yeah, and most of the time when you step up to, like, say, this one, you do get a better chip on this one, so you have better low light sensitivity, and just overall, it's this one shoots to an SD card, which is similar to this here. So you're limited to, I think the biggest SD card that you can get is what, 32 gigs?
I think so, yeah. I think up to 64 right now.
Okay, so maybe 64.
Yeah.
So you can probably get at the most 64 gigs on this camera. This one has a 240 gig hard drive in it. And if by chance you run out, which I've never run out of footage on this one yet. I've gone like about 4 or 5 months without emptying out this camera.
Wow.
So
that's in high definition, right?
Yes, yeah. Okay. That's 1080 1080i 60 frames per second with this camera. And if you by chance run out on this camera, you can still put like a little memory card in this one, and you can still shoot video and pictures. And what I actually do with this one is I'll put pictures onto the memory card and then video on the hard drive itself. Okay. Downside, I guess, with something like this is the size. So you can't just stick this one in your pocket. Some people probably can, but I have a hard time sticking this one in one of my pockets. This one you can keep in your purse or pocket or your man purse.
Sure.
So it's very ideal for, on the go. If you want better video than, like, say, what your cell phone gives you. It definitely gives you better video than your cell phone. So
so here's some questions, right? Because I actually had some tough decisions to make choosing between the two. Mm-hmm. One of my biggest questions is I actually have a limited hard drive space. Okay. And I was not sure how much space 1 hour of high definition video would take up. So how much did that take up?
It's actually a lot. I normally, like back in the day when you'd shoot on tape, so mini DV footage would probably give you about, if I remember right, that was like 4 gigs.
4 gigabytes?
For an hour long tape.
For an hour long?
Yeah.
But you haven't did you try exporting out what was out here?
Yes, it is quite a bit. Let's see. Last time I shot like an hour of high definition footage, it's usually, I would say about 30 gigs. 30
gigabytes?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but there are things you can do to counter that. So that's high definition in the highest quality that you can get. And that's one of the drawbacks that you're going to get with, or one thing that you're going to have to work around with these type of new camcorders that are not tape based, is that you're going to have to figure into your workflow the converting.
Oh, I see.
Like the importing and converting time.
I see.
So both of these, I believe, record, like this one says it records at MPEG-2. This one is ABC HD, which normally ends up in the file name ends up with the MTS codec. Like how there's like QuickTime is MOV. Mm-hmm. There's MTS. With this one, no matter what, I have to convert, like if I'm going to edit on a Mac.
I see.
There are times though, like with if you have Premiere or Sony makes their own editing software, Vegas.
Okay.
I believe you can edit with that natively, like without converting, but you are going to have to convert at the end.
Okay.
Which means rendering time. So.
Okay, so for someone like me, because I have maybe 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte of space on my computer. Half
Okay.
of that's probably chewed up from music, photos, because I have an SLR too. So my main concern is I still want to keep the raw video file of this particular camera, right? So if you're telling me right now 1 hour of full high definition shooting would be about 30 gigabytes
Yes.
in RAW without any conversion whatsoever.
Yeah, it's generally around that much from the files that I deal with.
Okay.
And what you can do to make it a smaller file is convert it to HDV. The HDV codec actually still looks pretty good. And since these ones are interlaced also, like that's what the 1080i means, HDV is an interlaced format as well. Okay. So you're still going to get pretty good HD footage, especially for home videos and things like that. And it's faster to work on, and more video editing systems still support that.
I see.
Codec.
Here's another question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to run in something less than the full definition? Can I run at something like 720p or something like that?
Yes, that's another thing to keep in mind. Like if you're making videos for the web, you're not always going to go at 1080p or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you can actually shoot at a lower resolution. Like this one can actually go to SD if you wanted to. Uh-huh. It doesn't look very good, but you can.
Yeah, I might as well get this then, right?
Right.
But for something like this, because I really like some of the features in the camera. You know, for instance, like I like the fact that see, this one has a built-in light, but I can use that light.
Yeah. So
on this one,
that's another advantage of stepping up, is that you can have like Sony's proprietary light on there, or even any light. Like this one doesn't even have the little thing for it.
Yeah, there's no mount here or anything like that. It just has a built-in LED light, and it's pretty much your basic camcorder with playback ability and stuff like that, and it does stills like you were saying. What are some of the major advantages? I mean, let's say there was no cost between the two. What are some of the big advantages this has over this one?
Well, for one thing, it looks like they use the same type of battery, so you can probably get a bigger battery for this one. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, with this one, I can add on a wide-angle lens.
Okay.
If you're constantly in, like for example, you're probably going to use it for home videos for the kids, mm-hmm. right? And for kids, you have to follow them around a lot, and you're a lot of time this close mm-hmm. on them. Without that, you're actually getting in a lot closer, which sometimes is not a good distance without the wide angle lens.
I see.
Other than that, like the chip that's built into this one is a lot more light sensitive. So if you're out at night without the light, or even in a overhang area on a bright day,
I see.
Like when it gets very shade, like there's a lot of shade,
mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a harder time making out faces with this one.
I see.
Without like another light, or something with more light sensitivity, so you have more gradient, and
I see.
You can see a lot better with it.
Okay. Does that also? I noticed that also has face detection, or
yes,
okay.
Yeah. So with this one, this camera in particular by Sony has a face detection, which actually I think you can pick up to like four different areas. So like if there's 4 people in a crowd, like it'll pick up the faces and it'll focus on faces, which I actually don't understand how they do it, but
it's really cool stuff. I mean,
yeah.
It basically looks like a targeting reticle on the faces when you're actually filming.
Right,
it's
right.
Really cool.